Here's what's going on. Here's the allegation, and there's always two sides to a story. So here's one side. So last Saturday, white boy Rick in Miami, Rick Warshey's his name.
Yeah.
Well, let's call him white boy Rick. It's okay. Anyway, apparently he was having sex with his girlfriend, and during the act, yes, thank you. White boy Rick blurted out a different girl's name. Well, apparently the girlfriend of 4 months didn't like that. A fight ensued. Shoe was thrown. Anyway, a punch allegedly by Rick Warshey. 3 days later, the girlfriend...
He ends up allegedly punching her
in the chest.
In the chest.
And there's a bruise. And there was a witness allegedly to the punch.
And this happened in Florida?
It's happened in Miami. Yes,
in
happened in Miami.
Okay.
Rick Warshey has moved down to Florida. He's got a place down there.
Okay.
And so, but he still comes up here quite a bit.
Right.
But anyway, so 3 days later, she goes to the police to make this report. And she waited 3 days because there was an immigration status issue. Not sure if she's here illegally or what, or if she's on a green card. I'm not sure. It's a green card, that would be legal, but I think there's some issue with her status. Doesn't matter. She goes to the police. She makes the report. Rick Warshey gets charged with 2 counts. One is a felony for because of the act, and the other one's a misdemeanor for punching. Okay, so it's a 5-year felony, by the way. He is arraigned on the charges. He postponed, and he'll be in court next month. Okay, that's one side of the story. Rick Warshey's side of the story is that she stole his $50,000 watch and his car keys to the Lamborghini. She wouldn't give it back. He says, I'm going to go to the police. She says, okay, I'm going to beat you to the police. She goes and makes a fake report. Rick Warshey denies any punching, any incident.
Everything.
All that.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the story.
So how is he?
White boy Rick has a Lambo?
I mean,
Sorry, I was just shocked by that one.
That is.
I know
Hey, man,
we shouldn't joke about it,
if
but
you've
wow.
been in prison as long as he has been for that, give him a
Let him do
Rolex,
it.
give him
I'm not hating.
yeah,
I'm appreciating
Lambo.
But back to you, Dean.
Just
Sorry.
to remind everybody, so he was in prison. He was an informant for the FBI as a teenager.
Back at 14
At
years
14
old.
years old. When they didn't need him anymore, he then started selling drugs on his own.
Right.
And then got caught up in that, and then went as a teenager, was convicted and went to prison
For about 30
for
years.
30 years.
Major
murderers
motion
who
picture
are
made.
out.
Matthew McConaughey starred in the motion picture about his life.
Yeah.
And he cooperated in the making of that movie.
Yeah.
And multiple documentaries have been made about White Boy
Yeah,
Rick.
I mean,
So
he's
he has
very
spent
well
a-
known.
Very
He's,
well known.
Spent
very
his
well
whole
known.
teenage years and adulthood, beginning of his
prison.
adulthood.
Over half of his life in prison.
Prison, yeah.
That's, he's 53. I think he's 53 years old right now. So it's.
So
And
does
once he
get-
gets out, I'm sorry, Dean. Once he gets out, he's not on probation, not on nothing.
He's not
so
on parole. Now, while he was in a Michigan prison, he actually committed a crime in Miami, or in Florida anyway. And so he actually had to go and do another 5 years after he got out of the Michigan
remember
prison.
that.
But he is not on any parole right now, nothing. He is a free
So
citizen.
this
He did his
case is
time.
on its own merits.
So this is only on its own merits. Now, if he gets convicted, sentencing, there'll be, because he's a prior convicted felon.
Right.
That would
What's
play a
the
role.
felony? Is it punching her in the chest?
No, it's called robbery by sudden snatching.
Oh, stealing the necklace. She had a diamond necklace on that.
But
he
that's what it's
ripped
called
off
in,
her
in
neck.
Florida. Robbery by sudden snatching. I actually looked it up. That's the actual word. It's a 5-year felony. I never heard
So
of it.
he
They got
said,
going
she
with
said
a
it
better name.
appears.
It does appear.
How
that way.
do those usually play out in court?
Not good for the prosecution because you have to, if there's an independent witness, that helps. But, again, there's motivation. Now, if she's here illegally, I don't know this, but if she is, and she's a victim of crime, that would extend her status here in the country.
She could stay.
Now, I don't know. I'm
Interesting,
just
man.
saying.
Interesting.
I'm just saying.
Charlie,
So,
but
there's a lot
if
of
he's
things.
saying none of this happened, would he have been charged and
Sure.
fingerprinted already?
So
Just by her
many times, this is a
accusations?
domestic violence
Yeah.
allegation. And if there's a bruise, if there's an independent witness, the police will do an investigation if they say let a jury decide ultimately.
Okay.
But this is still domestic violence. That's the allegation. It's very
Yeah.
serious.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a 5-year felony.
Yeah.
It
To a
doesn't
guy
sound
that's
like
got a
he's
pretty-
denying contact. It sounds like
He says no punching, and really she stole his watch and keys and that type of thing.
And he's
that he
saying
wants
this
to go.
to you or
me.
to you
Me.
personally?
To
Okay.
me.
All right.
Yeah,
He's got contacts.
Charlie's got
Talking about Charlie
the
Langton right
speed
now.
dial.
Charlie.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer.
I verified it with
Real
I
lawyer.
read the police report. I talked to his attorney, and I talked to him. So we got.
How long does this take to play out? Or does it even, or do they settle
No,
before
it's
it
a
happens?
felony. So he's got to be in court on, I think it's June 8th. I think that's
Okay.
the date. So it'll go through the process, but a couple months anyway.
And where is he in the meantime?
He's in I don't know if he's here or Miami. I'm not 100% sure of where he is. But he can go anywhere.
Do what he wants
He
to
posted his bond, and I doubt there's any travel restrictions. I wouldn't think that.
Interesting.
So, very interesting.
Very interesting.
All right, coming up next, important topic. We're kind of talking about cell phones in hands. It has gotten through the Michigan State Senate.
Yeah.
More on this coming up next.
Did you not do that part?
Yeah, I
The
watched
state
it.
Senate approving a bill banning drivers from using or holding cell phones while behind the wheel. So we have to get specific. We can use them, but we can't hold them, right? The bill's now headed back to the House before heading to Governor Whitmer's desk. Fox 2's Charlie Langton back with more. We're talking about distracted driving
You have
laws.
those things you can put on your dashboard
mount
where you
it,
clip
yeah.
it to
You can
mount. Yeah, you mount it
it's
to the
okay,
dashboard.
and it should be
that's okay.
hand-free
Hands-free.
through the Bluetooth or whatever technology.
I
you may
love
have in
this
your car.
law. So many people are trying to drive and do this and that. Put the phone down.
What
Mount
about
it.
people
Buy
who
a
need-
$20 mount.
But what about people? Okay, so you're saying if you need navigation or something, figure it out?
Right. There's a $20 mount. You
Yeah.
can mount it right on your vent. But boom, zip.
Yeah. I mean, I think we saw this coming. I don't think this is a big surprise. There are a couple of exceptions, 911 or you're reporting police activity, something like that. But the bottom line here is that you cannot hold your phone while you drive, which, sometimes, but I'm going to buy that $20
So does
mount.
that
Yeah, those
that
are
even
great.
means like this?
Yeah.
Can't do that. Cannot
No.
do that. That's what it means. Cannot do that.
And people that use
can't
their
even
left
hold it.
hand can't even see out this direction yet.
But I use my phone for directions all the time.
You hold it? Allegedly.
No, I'll tell you what I do. I set it down. There's a place where I drive, and I can set it down. So
Yeah.
I'm not holding it.
Yeah.
2 hands on the wheel, and I can look at it.
I put mine in
So-
the speaker so it talks, so that
and
I can
then,
hear it.
the Bluetooth.
Well, where does
talk
this
about
where does this
other-
go? Where does this go, Charlie? Because I was mentioning earlier in the show that I did this just last night, and I do think when
Allegedly.
you're trying to hold your phone down like that or set it down, you take your eyes off the road. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hold it up here so I can see the road and just glance over. And maybe that's my fault, but I think when you start dipping your head down, looking down, that's when problems come up. So I was like, if somebody's gonna get me, somebody's gonna get me. I'd rather hold it here so I can see where I'm going and see the road.
So as I read
Terrible.
the law, if you did
On
that,
my
you're
part,
driving
too,
along
but-
and you have your phone like this, you're
Yeah.
going to get arrested.
No, I understand
I think
that.
that's
Another
not
question
right.
about the
being
law.
honest.
Arrested. Or
Yeah.
just a ticket.
You get it. Yeah, you get a ticket. I think it's $100 fine and no point. Second offense, there was a point and a $250 fine. Third one, you have to go to driving school.
Right, you got to figure it out.
What
because,
about what are
yeah.
the other ones on this distracted driving? This set of laws. It's
think
eating is part of it. You can't eat.
Well, there's a.
Oh, I'm in trouble
They
there.
haven't done it yet.
Look at you,
Me
man.
too. No,
Allegedly.
as far as I
Don't
know,
admit
this is
anything,
just
man.
distracted on the cell phone.
Okay,
we
this is
already banned
specific.
text. You can't text.
Right.
That's another thing. And then I think just in general, distracted driving. I think there's a catch-all. I'd like to see that challenge. But usually, what happens, as I've talked, so if you're eating and you're swerving, you get written up for the swerving or
Okay.
careless driving, which is a 3-point ticket.
How much will they enforce? I feel like we've all seen bad drivers, and then we drive past them and they're texting. How enforceable is this?
They just had a big sting operation going on.
Right.
I say a sting operation, but it's called a ghost operation, where they'd have an unmarked car just looking for people, and then they'd radio in, handheld of course, to a marked police car, and they say go and arrest this guy for distracted driving, eating, talking, whatever it may be.
How far are
It's
we
a big
away
deal.
from traffic cameras being able to just take that picture and send
They
it
have
in?
them in Ohio. They
I
have
know, and other countries have them as well.
Well,
They have parking violations in Royal Oak.
Oh, yeah.
But some people are saying this is going to go the opposite way, that we're going to have driverless cars, that it's actually pushing people, that you
Yes.
just sit there and let your car do all the work.
That does sound
So I
Sounds
think
great.
these,
good. Yeah.
I like to drive.
I do think
Cool
this
ride.
is very important though, because look, maybe we all just have to figure this out, because if you could save lives, the cell phone is killing people.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know what I
there's
mean?
stats all over.
The stats are the stats, and if you want it to end, I always said penalize it like a drunk driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Penalize it like a drunk driver. That's the only way it's going to stop.
Yeah.
So if I got to buy a $20 mount, I got to buy a $20 mount.
Yeah, are they the ones that fit in your beverage holder?
There's one
Yeah,
in
you're
beverage
looking
holder.
down though.
Or you
I
can-
hate
There's
the
one
looking down.
There's one you can put that fits on your vent.
So
where you just-
almost eye level.
Almost
then.
eye level.
Yeah, I hate the looking down. That looking
Let
down,
it
you
rip.
get in trouble.
Yeah, let it rip tonight. We're going to be talking about this new report in Oxford schools tonight. We're going to talk about the threat assessment report. So did Oxford do what they should have done after the tragic incident that happened there? And also this AI, artificial intelligence, we're talking about that.
What are you going to say about it, Charlie? What is it? How does
Taking
it work?
over the world.
What is
Well,
going
you know,
on?
I mean, the writer strikes are going on.
Yeah.
There's some threats being made. Hey, we just artificially write everything and we're good to go. So it is controversial. We can do it.
Right.
I've seen it work.
Right.
It's incredible.